Hello and welcome. It's incredibly windy out today and it's absolutely freezing, but for some reason I'm still wearing shorts because I'm one of those weird people that always wears shorts no matter how cold it is. That's just how I roll. Now, if I show you what's in my pocket, you'll probably know what I have out today. It's been on the channel one time. Using these cartridges, isolating the cylinder and putting it in this single-use cartridge just opens up so much variety for what we can do for PCPs. Now I have the harpoon out today, you probably already know that, but I'm just picturing, like, I don't know if you've seen Hellboy, that big gigantic revolver he has.
Take the hint. We don't take hints.
That's what I want to see done with this. A PCP revolver with AEA cartridges. Also, I want to see a pump action cartridge fed shotgun with this. I think that would just be absolutely spectacular. Now, this harpoon looks quite a bit different from the last time that we had it out. We're relatively close here to the 2x4. Let's do the short barrel first, then the long one. A big thank you to Maccabee Speed for sending out this Huntsman stock, as well as these bore-sided rails. A big thank you to Tom at Bluegrass Big Bore for sending out this AEA harpoon for me to try out today. Last but not least, a big thank you to Texoma Precision Pellet for hooking me up with some additional parts for the harpoon. We have the harpoon charging block, which allows you to fill up 2 cartridges at once. And also, Texoma Precision Pellet makes these metal slug holders. I only had the plastic ones out for the first video. I didn't have any issues. I was testing some ammo with this yesterday in the 50 caliber, but I ran into my first problem with those plastic slug holders. I never had an issue with the 457, but when I was using these 50 cal slug holders, that thing pretty much disintegrated right off the bat. I opened up the chamber and it was just in pieces inside there, so just a heads up, if that happens, these are available. Yesterday I was narrowing down which ammo I was going to use for today. We're going to use this Texoma 375 grain maxi ball ammo. Now, this thing's pretty heavy. I think this is absolutely pushing it beyond the limit of the harpoon. If we can get this base hollowed out a good bit and maybe drop this down to sub 300 grain, I think this ammo would be awesome through the harpoon in the 50 caliber. Now, range is going to be a big issue because this is pretty much like we're lobbing artillery. So beyond probably 25, 30 yards, it's going to be lobbing in there. I'm going to see if we can drop that star at 55, 60 yards from here, but I'm not too hopeful on that right now. Let's get sighted in real quick. Now with these bore-sided rails, we have the ACOG on the right barrel, and we have this, what I would say is a crappy red dot, this Seymour Railway red dot on the left barrel. They should be sighted in. Let's just check it out real quick. I'm gonna go for a middle bullseye. I'm gonna get a chronograph test too. So the velocity was terrible, 400 feet per second. Let's do one more. I just want to make sure my ACOG is on. It was sighted in yesterday. I don't know what's up right now. I'm not sure what's going on because this thing was pretty much dead on yesterday. We were hitting bullseyes probably 9 times out of 10. At this distance. Now it's just all over the place. I might switch up ammo, but before we do that, let's do a penetration test real quick. All right, we got 1 round loaded up, left barrel. We got 10 pizza pans in there. Let's see if we make it through all of them at 400 feet per second with a 375 grain projectile.
Great ass!
So we made it through 7 plates completely. This is the 8th plate. That's projectile. I 100% guarantee the next round's gonna go through all of them. So let me go grab those, refill, and I'll be right back. So my first video, I got asked a ton of times, how do you actually charge these cylinders? Well, once you're done firing them, you have to take out the slug sleeve. That just threads right out. We're gonna go through and do that for all of them. Once we do that, then we'll go from there. Now, you gotta take out the spent burst disc. This is the part that you have to replace every time you shoot these. This is a one-time use piece right here, so. Those come out, just rinse and repeat for every shell that you have. Okay, so all the slug holders are removed. all the rears are removed, all the spent burst discs are removed. Now the first thing I have to do is replace each burst disc. Now on this piece, it has a little slot for the burst disc to rest into. You want to make sure that that disc is resting in there. If it's not resting in there, more than likely when you try to fill this, it's just going to blow out that burst disc. Now, I fill this so gravity does the work for me. Burst disc stays in place. The cartridge threads on. Once it's threaded on, then you can do whatever you want with this. It's going to be held in place. I do it like that just so the burst disc doesn't have a chance to move around. It's recessed in that little hole for it. And then, since we're just threading it on like this, there's nowhere for it to move. Same process for the rest of them. Let me just get through that, and then we'll go to filling. The discs have been replaced on all the cartridges. Now it's time to fill. We have the Texone Precision Pellet charge block. This uses a Defender 2 fill nipple. Now, if you didn't have this, this has a little bit bigger of a fill nipple that screws directly into these. You can only do one at a time with that. If you're using this Defender 2 fill nipple and the Harpoon charge block, then you can do two at once. Pretty much the same thing though. This piece, but the Harpoon one would just thread right in. You want to make sure that these are threaded 100% of the way in, on the top and the bottom. You don't want any movement. If you have any movement in there, when you go to fill this, the O-ring at the bottom there, this piece, that's going to escape around the cartridge. So if you had a little bit of a gap down here, you're going to have a blown out O-ring. Same thing with this piece. There's an O-ring there, and if this piece isn't tied down all the way, or tightened in all the way, you're going to blow that O-ring out. An easy fix, but it's probably going to scare the crap out of you. Now I'm going to be using a transfer tank. This is no different no matter what you do it. This is just going to be a lot faster with the transfer tank. I got my fill adapter. This will only take about a couple seconds. So that's done pretty much instantly. It's the same method if you use a compressor. It's just going to take longer. The compressor has to fill the line, charge up all the way to 4,500 PSI, and then you have to bleed it out and all that. And you'll have to do that for every single cartridge. So going from that to a transfer tank and just using a fill trigger, it's done in seconds versus, I would say, probably minutes for the other methods. Now we just rinse and repeat until we're done with all 8 cartridges, and then I'll meet you back out there. I'm back. This time we have a 235 grain hollow point from Texone Precision Pellet. Let's see if that makes it through 10 pizza pans. Well, we made it through the same exact amount of pizza pans. Stopped on the same one. I'm just hoping you can see that. The way that hollow point just flattened. Now we just have this like little hollow core. That's about it. That's too funny. Let me sight this in. Hopefully it won't take me long. If it takes me long, I'll just like skip this whole section and we'll just get right into the next part. But I'll get velocity on these rounds, and hopefully these do better than those maxi balls. Those were working so good the other day. For some reason, they're just all over the place. I don't know. Those 235 grain hollow points are loaded up. Hopefully we can sight this in relatively quick. Let's get a velocity test though. 543 feet per second. I think I'm decently sighted in enough that I can take down a Texas Star. So let's take down that one on the right. Now, the first time I had this thing out, it was one of the slowest Texas Stars in history. I want to change that. Technically, I have 8 cartridges, but I broke one of the slug holders, so I only have 7 that I can really use fast-paced. I wanted to have at least enough slug holders for each cartridge in each caliber, because I can't do a fast transition switching between cartridges unless I have that slug sleeve in place. Otherwise I have to unscrew one, thread one in, put a new round in there, and then it's ready to go. This way, if you have more cartridges, more sleeves, it's pretty much, you're at the ready for when you want to dump cartridges. So let's do that right Texas star. Of course, I think I was low. So my red dot seems to be off. Let me just try aiming with the Trigicon for both. Trigicon works. Thank God it does, because, well, I had one cartridge left, but no slug sleeve ready at will to go into it. I just did like 30 seconds of shooting. Now I have to do 10 minutes of reloading. I must be cursed or something, because the red dot was sighted in. I just shot a target after I took down the star, and it hit exactly where I was aiming for. So of the shots I put on that Texas star that just didn't connect, I have no idea. But let's step it up to 60 yards. Let's put a few shots on paper to see where we're hitting. Then I'm absolutely crazy enough to try and take out that 60-yard star, so let's do that. I'm gonna aim for the target on the left. We'll go for the neckline. All right, so I forgot to put my hearing protection on. Fortunately, this isn't too loud with the long barrels. With the shorter ones, it's kind of loud. All right, so the likelihood of me being able to do this is probably pretty slim, but we have to try anyway, and if it just doesn't go right, then it doesn't go right, but we're gonna try. That is a wily one. Damn it, couldn't get that last one. We're all out of ammo. I'll see you back here in like 5 minutes.
5 minutes later.
Okay, so we rectified the Texas Star situation. Let's drop a couple of sodas. I wonder if this is accurate enough to drop these sodas at about 30 yards. We're gonna try it out. That first one was embarrassing. Let's see if we can do better round two. Not bad. All right, well, I might have been using a rest, but that's only because it's so windy that I'm actually getting like thrown around, so I had to add the rest. I don't think I would have been able to do that without the rest. The gusts are just insane. Let's fill up one more time and wrap things up. Let's go. Got greedy there. All right, so not the fastest, but compared to the first time I had this thing out, night and day. Not bad at all. One miss. I was rushing it a little bit. All right, we got one blue steel torso at 60 yards down there. Let's see if we can hit it 2 times, and then we'll wrap up. All right, let's wrap up. Once again, a big thank you to Tom at Bluegrass Big Bore for providing this harpoon for me today. A big thank you to Maccabee Speed for providing the stock and these bore-sided rail kits. And last but not least, a big thank you to Jim at Texoma Precision Pellet for providing the ammo and the accessories for this harpoon. That charge block really does help out a lot. Doubles up the speed of reloading these. Having these extra cartridges is a game changer. Extra cartridges, extra fun, less downtime. I love the harpoon. I love these cartridges. It just makes me think of what's to come down the line for PCP air guns using these. It opens up the doors for so many different possibilities. It's more of a traditional way of using a gun, I guess. Without the tank and just using these single-use cartridges where all you have to do is replace a burst disc every time, Granted, I understand it's a little bit of a hassle, but for the convenience of portability and having everything all in one, no big ugly tank, it looks more traditional. I think that's a great trade-off. And these are big enough that they hold enough air to actually be, I'd say, pretty powerful. These things are definitely awesome, and I want to see more PCPs featuring these. I just hope to get that big gigantic revolver one day. All right, with that, I'll leave you there. See ya.